Hello and welcome back to our Reset series, Breaking Ungodly Soul Ties. I pray that you're blessed today. Last time we started a question, somebody sent us a question saying, how can I know that ungodly soul ties are operating in my life? And so I started talking about that last time. And you may want to watch the previous video to find out what we talked about. But today, I'm just going to dive in and we're going to talk about another indicator that affects most Christians, and that is a person's inability to establish and maintain relationships. This is another indicator that soul ties are operating in your life. Now, an ungodly soul tie may cause you to be unable to give yourself completely to someone or to something. The soul tie causes what is mostly known as a split soul. It means that at some point in your life, there was an event or experience that caused you to leave a part of you with another person or another entity. For instance, I'll give an example. I remember working for an organization in the early 90s, an IT company, one of the top IT companies, and I loved it so much that when the company merged with another bigger company, they laid off our entire department. And when I left, I'd gotten offers to work in the other offices, but it was too far away from my house, so I couldn't take the job. I wanted to work there. I didn't want to work anywhere else. So of course, they gave us the severance package and we moved on. And in looking for work elsewhere, I got something, the Lord opened a door somewhere else. And when I was at this new place, new prestigious organization, I still kept referencing my old job. Every time I kept on saying, well, over there, mentioning the name of the company, we did this and we did it that way. And over there, we did it this way. Well, I did not realize at that point that my soul was so knit to that entity, to that organization, that I had not disconnected from them. And so even though I was moving forward in life, I was pulling, myself backwards by trying to go back to where, God had moved me from and moved me forward. And a lot of times we do that when it comes to different entities, or sometimes, when we experience like a trauma or a tragedy or an emotional separation, it causes our soul to split, leaving us in an incomplete state. So basically, what do I mean by that? Well, one part of your soul belongs to another person, and another part of your soul can belong to another person or something or an entity somewhere else. When we go deeper into teaching of the sexual soul ties, this happens where, if you remember, the Bible talked about a man and a woman shall leave his mother and his father's house and cleave to one another, and they shall become one. Well, when we defile the marriage bed, and we have sexual relations before marriage, what happens is that you and that individual that you've had sex with, you become one. When the two of you break up, without breaking the soul tie that was established between the two of you, you both carry each other, a part of each other's soul. So let's say that individual has moved on. It's been 20 years since you broke up with that person. They're living in another part of the world, somewhere you've never heard of that from them. But what will be happening is that whatever is happening in their life over there might be affecting you here, because there's that soul tie, and whoever they've connected to and others that you've connected to, you're all tied together as one. And so I'll go deeper into that. I don't want to go ahead of myself today, but as we go forward, I will get to the teaching of sexual soul ties. But I need you to understand, I need to teach this so you can have the foundation before I start jumping into that. So anyhow, the splitting of the soul causes a shutting down effect, emotionally, mentally, and socially, and even spiritually. That's how come you find that some people can become emotionally dead. And I spoke about being emotionally dead last time. Now, once that part of you is shut down, you no longer possess the ability to commit to people or to other things. And you hear sometimes people say, I don't trust, so I don't trust people and I don't trust this. It's because they've got that split soul experience experience in their lives. And so because of that emotional hurt or trauma that they experienced or event in their lives, that causes them to be in a position where they can't trust people, they can't maintain, relationships with others, they can't, hold friends, have friends in their lives for long. People come in and out of their lives quickly. They cannot even stay in a relationship longer than a couple of weeks or months, because a part of their soul has been lost, and out of fear and self-preservation, they never want to commit to anything or anyone else because they feel like people take from them or it'll cost them something. And so that's the mindset, but really it's not. The root is the soul tie that was established and caused a split soul when the two people went their separate ways. The other side of this is a condition where we know as codependency, where two people are entirely dependent on one another at a very unhealthy and ungodly soulish level. And so they can't function without another person, because if this person is not in their life, things seem to be out of order. Even in adult relationships, mostly, they operate under extreme dysfunction, and you can actually see extreme dysfunction operating in their lives. And so an example is a person who's always involving themselves in relationship with the opposite sex and inevitably getting hurt, abused, and disappointed by the same person. So, but basically what is happening is their soul is longing for affection or affirmation and companionship, and that sense of I'm worth something. And that person usually allows themselves or enters into sinful relationships in search of that missing piece that was taken from them, because it was bound to somebody else years ago, and that person is gone and they never disconnected. Now you can get that piece back, but you have to break that ungodly soul tie, and you have to go through, of course, the breaking part of it is going through the deliverance. But again, you find that their soul was split, and it's left them in a condition where every relationship they engage in ends up hurting them, and all over again. And so because they have that split soul situation happening, and so they can even be married, but they'll find that in their marriage they're being hurt, and because these ungodly soul ties haven't been dealt with. So next time we will continue talking about this, and I'll share some more on this with you. But I encourage you to stay with me throughout these series, because I'm building I'm starting with the foundation, and I'm building up on all the other areas that you'll need to know about, ungodly soul ties. And we'll get to the point where I start teaching you about how to break free from these ungodly soul ties. I suggest that you do find where you can attend our prayer and healing school, or receive a deliverance in your area where they are teaching on this, and they teach about ungodly soul ties. And but definitely you're more than welcome to show up at any of our meetings where we have either our Be Healed conferences across the U.S. And so I encourage you, though, to listen to this and take notes. Now, I'm sharing bits and pieces. I'm not going into in depth in the teachings that you would have to get through coaching one-on-one, or through coming to attend one of our healing schools. So I pray you were blessed today, and I look forward to talking with you again next time. Bye-bye.